Hi guys, this is Kyle and I want to go through one of the basic movements that we work on here at boot camp. This is going to be our hip hinge movement. Now our hip hinge movement is performed by breaking and unbreaking at the hips, okay? We are going to keep a little bit of knee bend, but it's not going to be much, okay? We're going to keep soft knees. So here's a knee that's fully locked out, here's a knee that's soft. A little bit of knee bend is what we're looking for, but we don't want to have too much knee bend. That's going to take the emphasis off of the hamstrings. Most of the hip hinges we do at boot camp are supposed to emphasize our hamstrings, not our back. I'm going to show you how to perform it properly, okay? When we set up for our hip hinge, we want to make sure, guys, that we're taking a little bit wider oftentimes than a shoulder width stance, and that we're also turning our toes out a little bit, okay? Turning our toes out allows us to open up our hips, which is going to allow us, again, to load our hamstrings as we perform the movement. So I would suggest trying going a little bit wider than your normal squat stance. And when we initiate our hip hinge, we want to make sure that we push our butt back first, okay? So immediately, I break at the hips, I push my butt back. Now, as I'm doing this, guys, I'm also focusing on keeping my back nice and straight. I'm cueing myself to keep my chest up and my shoulders back. Okay? So as I'm sitting back, I'm focusing on keeping a good arch in my back, and as I'm coming down, I can really feel my hamstrings tighten up, okay? So I'm really trying to sit back towards where I feel the stretch in my hamstrings. All of the weight right now is on the heels of my feet. I'm not forward, just like so. I'm back on my heels, and if I'm doing these properly, I can do them with my toes curled off the floor. We're just going to go as far as our hamstring mobility allows, okay? We don't want to overextend on the movement. If I'm trying to increase my range of motion, I grab my back over, I lose that tension on my hamstrings, and I add tension on my back, okay? So we're removing tension from our back, we're adding tension on our hamstrings. Now our back is also an active participant in the exercise. Our back is working not as something that we're trying to load, but rather as something that is working very hard to stabilize us and to emphasize our hamstrings, okay? So my back is being worked by trying to keep good position, arching and staying tight the entire time. Now I'm going to show you a couple of different versions of a Romanian deadlift. It's one of the basic hip hinges that we do. The first one that I'm going to show is using a kettlebell. So with the kettlebell is going to be set between our legs. Again, I'm a little bit wider than shoulder width, okay, and I'm pointing my toes out a little bit, okay? It's really hard to sit back on our heels and really push our butt back so that we stretch our hamstrings if we're in really now, okay? What happens instead is our shoulders get in front of our midline and we end up placing pressure on our lower back, which is not where we want for this exercise to be loaded. So I'm nice and wide, toes pointed out just a little bit. I'm going to pick my kettlebell up nice and safely, and I start my Romanian deadlift from the top. From the top, I'm pushing my butt back, feeling that stretch on my hamstrings, and I'm only going to go as far as my hamstring mobility allows. For some of you, it's going to be here. For some of you, it's going to be here. But what we don't want to do as we're coming down is we don't want to let our back tightness relax, and we don't want to lose that good position. So if I'm here, I'm really stretching my hamstrings. If I come here to complete my movement, I've lost all the tension on my hamstrings. The other option that we have for a Romanian deadlift is to use a barbell. And in some instances, we're going to have progressions in place in which you can work with a barbell. Now with a barbell, we're going to set up differently from with the kettlebell, okay? So rather than setting up with a wide stance, we are going to bring our feet in a little bit. So I'm going to set up with my barbell at the top, and I'm going to set my feet in closer, okay? I'm still going to turn my toes out a little bit, but I'm going to set my feet in closer. Now with a barbell, I'm only going to go about as far down as the middle of my shin. So I'm sitting back, I'm stretching my hamstrings, middle of the shin, and then I'm back at the top. So again, guys, from the side, sitting back, arching my back the whole time, all my weight is distributed back, and look at my shoulders in relation to the bar. See how my shoulders aren't here? See how my shoulders instead are here? This is where we want to be. So another good cue is to think about trying to get your shoulders in front of whatever weight you're using, whether it's a barbell or whether it's a kettle. Okay, that's going to help set you
extended position. Anyway guys, I hope that this video instructional helps. If you have any questions, feel free to pull any trainer aside and ask them for more information on these movements. Thanks, and keep checking in.